All right, what you just saw was the CMMG BANSHEE 4.6. Let's talk about it. So the CMMG BANSHEE 4.6 is pretty awesome. It's hard to do a review on the rifle or pistol. For the purpose of this video, I know there's going to be a bunch of comments, whatever. I'm using the term rifle or pistol indiscriminately. This is how I bought this. It was legal when I bought it, and that's just how I'm going to do the review. This is how it came from the factory. That's where the review is going to come from. So you can kind of go ahead and save all your, oh, but the ATF, blah, 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 shall not comply, pistol brace, whatever. I'm shooting it in the video, fully shouldering it. That's just how I'm going to do this review. So, I don't know. That being said, that's my little disclaimer on this thing. But I did want to talk about this thing because it is a really unique firearm. And the uniqueness kind of comes from the round more so than the gun, right? So I'm going to kind of explain that. A bunch of people ask me, what is 4.6? Whenever I bring this to the range or whatever, they're like, what are you shooting? I'm like, oh, it's a 4.6. And they're like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, well, let me explain. So basically the 4.6 is H&K's way of competing with the FN 5.7. The FN 5.7 was released first, and it had some kind of inherent problems. It was built with the P90, and people were basically looking for a high velocity, small, low recoil round to shoot for CQB, and the P90 kind of did that well. You also have the FN 5.7 pistol that kind of matches that. It's a really cool round. Well, H&K saw the FN 5.7 and was like, you know what? I think this is about 1999 is when the 4.6 came around. They built the MP7, and they came out with 4.6, which is ballistically almost identical to 5.7, except the way that they manufacture the 4.6 is a little bit cheaper than the 5.7. The 5.7 required a lacquer to be applied. It's like a clear coat lacquer, and it helps feed the rounds because they were getting a bunch of feeding problems and things like that, which 5.7 is kind of done away with. And CMMG does make a 5.7 Banshee, but this one's chambered at 4.6. Another cool thing about 4.6 and kind of what piqued my interest about it was during the COVID-19 ammo shortage, I couldn't get 5.56. Even if I had the money to pay for 5.56 or 223, it just wasn't available at one point. And that's kind of when this platform was released, and CMMG said, hey, like, you can't get 5.56 or 300 blackout, but you know what is available? 4.6, because you can order it and you can get it in the round in the US. There's just not a gun on the market that actually shoots it, except for the MP7, which isn't commercially available in the United States. So what CMMG did was created an AR platform that shoots the 4.6. All of a sudden, my problems were solved. I could go online, I could buy 4.6 as much as I wanted of it, and have a gun that was an AR platform that I could shoot out of it and train with. I'll say about the ammo, let's see, I was shooting 4.6 from Vanguard Outfitters. They have a steel penetrator round, and they have a 3-leaf pedal self-defense style round. And they sent me 2 boxes of that stuff for free. Thank you so much, Vanguard Outfitters. That was awesome. And then I also got some from Ammunition Depot. So Ammunition Depot sent out 200 rounds of Fiocchi 4.6. So Fiocchi 4.6, they were just like FMJ rounds, I believe, and some soft point. It's kind of like a half and half. So between the two manufacturers, I had 0 misfires. Everything fed perfectly. Everything shot beautifully, as you can see from the video. There's no recoil on this gun. As some of the guys from CMMG had said, it's almost boring to shoot. It almost shoots itself. It's so smooth. It just feeds so reliably, and I love it. So, it's hard to do a review of the gun, like I said, without talking about 4.6 and why 4.6. And that's kind of why. So 4.6 runs like on the low end, like 60 to 65 cents a round, which is a little bit more than what you're going to get from a 5.56 or 223 right now. That ammo has calmed down. So now it's kind of more expensive round to shoot. But at the time, this is all I could get because there was no 300 blackout. There's no 223 on the shelf. You were limited to like one box if you could find it. And I was paying, people were paying like $1.50, $2 a round for some of these rounds. Well, I was paying for 60 cents. The price has not changed on 4.6 because nobody's buying it. So I was able to buy 500 to 600 rounds of 4.6 at 60 cents a round and shoot an AR-15. That was like gold at the time. Now the prices have calmed down a little bit. I'm kind of reverting back to shooting some 5.56 and 223 because 4.6 is still hanging around that 60 to 65 cents a round. Yeah, so that's basically it on 4.6. A lot like 5.7, cheaper to manufacture, cheaper to buy. And yeah, so that's it. And it's pretty cool. It looks like this little miniature. If you've never seen a 4.6 or 5.7 round, it kind of looks like a tiny little baby 5.56 or 223. It's pretty neat. So this is the Banshee. It comes in a lot of their colors. That pale forest green. I don't know what to call it, but I love it. It looks so good. Sorry, my nose is itching. It looks really good. This is the sniper gray color that they have. It's just like a dark charcoal. So, like all my guns, most people that review guns kind of keep it as it is from the factory. I tend to dress mine up because I'm using them before the review. I like to sink, 1,000 rounds or so through it before I review it. And a lot of the B-roll that you see is me doing that in the video previously. And then I was changing out some optics. You might see some of the videos I had the AEMS on here, which was awesome. I put the ACOG on here just for fun. This is a TA-33 from Trigicon. It's really overkill for what this rifle is, but I was shooting steel at 200 yards. This thing is such a flat shooter. 200 yards, I was hitting steel with the ACOG, and I just kind of fell in love with the way the ACOG runs on this thing. And it's impractical and it doesn't make sense, but it's fun. For me, the true test of whether I'm going to enjoy a gun or a platform or not is how it runs suppressed. So I tend to run everything suppressed. So I did a little mixture. I ran the JK Armament suppressor on here, and I ran the Silencer Co. 556K silencer on here. It's important to note that 4.6 is not designed... I don't want to say it's not designed to be suppressed. They don't make subsonic rounds. I'll just say that. You're going to get a decent amount of pop. It's not dead quiet, but it is okay. Like, you're not going to blast your eardrums out shooting it suppressed. I was wearing hearing protection while shooting it suppressed, but it probably wasn't absolutely necessary. But kind of like 5.56 or 223, it's just... If you're not going to run it subsonic and get the benefits from it. If you're going to run it subsonic, you might as well not run 4.6. It's not really what the round was designed to do. I see a lot of MP7 videos, and they're always running those OSS suppressors or whatever through it. So I was running a silencer on it. You can use a 22 caliber silencer as long as it is rated for 5.7. The Saker 5.56 is obviously rated for 5.56, so it's going to have no problem with 4.6, and that's what I was shooting out of it. The Erector, the Switchback, all those are great options if you're planning on getting 4.6 and running it. So just make sure your silencer is rated for at least 5.7 if you're using a 22, and you should be good to go. So all that being said, I'm running the Silencer Co. SR Break on here. It normally comes from the factory with their linear comp, their zeroed comp, and that thing for what it is really good. I was running some of the other Banshees with that stuff, with the break on it, with the linear comp on it. and it works well for what it is. I just changed it out because, like I said, I like running suppressed. So that's what that is. I dressed it up also with the Cloud Defensive Owl, probably my favorite light on the market. People saying, oh, it's too heavy, you need to go to the gym and get over it. It's a really good light. It's a tank. It's not that heavy. It's not that big when you compare it with the tail cap, and it's not that expensive either if you compare it with the tail cap and all the stuff that you're going to spend on a mod light or Surefire or whatever. It's comparable. I'll say that. It's not cheaper. It's comparable. And then I'm running the Edgar Sherman design sling on here and some paracord for my sling mounts. I'll get into that in a minute. So let's work our way from front to back on this thing. This is an older style of the Banshee. So right whenever I had received this, they switched the style of their Banshees completely. They got new handguard designs. They stopped using Magpul furniture. They started bringing in their own grips. They got their zeroed line of it, which is basically their attachments, their grips, their trigger guards, their muzzle devices, and all that. So this is the older style. So the newer style has some really sleek looking cuts in the canted positions, and it's got the M-LOK slots. They look so good. I've got reviews coming on the Resolute and the 9mm Banshee, and you'll actually get to see it. Spoiler alert, it's right there. But this is the old style, so keep that in mind as moving forward. But you do have 3, 6, and 9 o'clock M-LOK slots right here, and you've got your Picatinny rail at 12 o'clock, as you should. The way it locks into the barrel nut is really, really solid. I haven't had any problems, haven't had any shift with all the banging around and throwing this thing around that I've done. I've got actually a good bout of wear, like here on the paint and stuff, from just use, and this thing is held up rock solid. The gas system is a proprietary gas system for the 4.6. It's perfectly tuned. I've had no problems, no misfires, no nothing. This is more than just an AR platform that's been converted to shoot 4.6. It is built specifically for 4.6. It is purpose built, and it's not just like a conversion kit. So the gas is proprietary. It's like a short gas system. It's perfect for it. So moving on back, you've got your special to the upper. You've got a pretty large chamber in here that's made for the 4.46. It's perfect, and a bolt that is specifically designed for 4.46. It won't work with anything else. I have seen, I believe it was Harleywood 23, maybe. It may have been Top Shot Dustin, I can't remember, but he was like, let's just see if 5.7 works, and it actually worked. I wouldn't recommend shooting 5.7 through a 4.6, but apparently, according to other gun tubers out there, it does work. But this bolt is designed for 4.6. You can't use it on anything else. It's proprietary. The upper has got this aluminum dust cover, and it works as a dust cover should. CMMG actually has their own dust covers now. That was on the new ones. This is obviously an old one. It's just still an aluminum style dust cover. You've got a 90-degree ambidextrous safety. I really like that. It's almost a must these days. Because if it's not ambidextrous, a lot of people that are like, well, I'm right-handed, I don't need ambidextrous. It's really way easier to manipulate your safety back to safe with your trigger finger with an ambidextrous safety. It's just a natural movement. I almost can't run without an ambidextrous safety now. So they did a good job on that, and it's something you would expect out of a higher end rifle or pistol, whatever. Moving on back, you've got their ambidextrous charging handle. These charging handles are really, really good. They've got the logo laser engraved in the top. It just kind of gives it that high-end feel. No matter what side you pull from, it is going to unlatch They're super solid. I haven't had any pins walk out on these. I haven't had really anything go wrong, and they're really wide, so it just gives a lot to grab onto whenever I'm manipulating it, whether I'm wearing gloves, whatever it is. You have your forward assist. You guys can argue about that in the comments, whether or not you like forward assist or not, or whether they're necessary. I know that's a point of contention. You guys should fight about it. It is fighting online is fun. So you've got your forward assist there. As far as the grip goes, this is a Magpul MOE textured grip. If you like Magpul grips, there it is. They've got the Magpul trigger guard in here. This is a forged upper and lower. Their new ones, they have proprietary ones that've got the CMMG logo on them. I believe they're made in-house now. I don't think they're using Magpul furniture at all. On the new ones, it's really, really nice. It feels kind of like the Magpul, but they've got this textured design on it, and it kind of flows with the way the rail and everything looks. It's really aesthetic. We'll get into that on some of the later reviews. But as far as this goes, if you like Magpul, you're going to like this. So one more thing about the lower is most of the magic of this rifle pistol is in the upper, and it actually just uses a standard AR lower, which is pretty cool. So if you have a lower that you really like, you've got that trigger that you really like, whatever, you can actually run this upper on it, and that is due to the magazines. These proprietary magazines are 40. First of all, they hold 40 rounds as opposed to 30. And they fit in a standard AR-15 mag well, which is super cool. So you just slide it in, you've got 40 rounds, and you could slide a standard AR mag in there. If you just wanted to carry two uppers and use the same lower because you have one you really like, you can do that. And I really like that about this. So that takes care of the mag. Let's move on back to the... well, actually, let's talk about the trigger. So the trigger is nothing super special. It's got a super crisp reset. It feels like a standard mil-spec trigger. It works. It is what it is. You can obviously upgrade with whatever trigger that you want. It's a nice trigger. I mean, it's just, I think it's just a standard mil-spec trigger. I don't think it's any lighter. The reset on it does feel a little shorter. I don't feel as much sponge in it, but it resets there's a very positive reset and a short pull, and I do like it. So let's move back to kind of one of the newer features that is kind of coming standard on all of CMMG stuff. And I've got to be critical about one thing, and it's not really critical about what they're doing with this. It's more I run my stuff a certain way, and the way that they're coming from the factory doesn't work with the way I like to run my gun. So this is kind of personal, and it shouldn't probably reflect. I shouldn't say this shouldn't reflect poorly on CMMG. It's just I run my stuff a certain way. I don't know. I don't really know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. So basically, I like to run my slings on the opposite side, on the buttstock, wrapped around the front, like this. That way, when it's hanging around my neck, it's indexed properly, and it comes into play. I used to not run my stuff like that. I used to run it back here on the base plate until I started doing, training with some guys and taking some classes, and we started getting into CQB and transitions and things like that. And it became a problem, me doing my transitions from right to left with my sling down here, so I moved it up here. Well, the problem with that is I don't run my stock or brace all the way out. I run it on the second position from all the way out. So with the fastback system, as soon as that weight hits the brace, it pulls out all the way. So it's a great idea. Like, you have this stored, oh, I need to get to it quickly. You pull the brace and you're good to go. And that's really unique. And what they did was they basically took the detents, not the detents, whatever, the divots, the holes where your stock or brace locks in, and they basically ramped them slanting backwards. So whenever you pull, it's not catching on anything, but it also won't collapse in. It's a really cool, and I love it when companies innovate on features of AR-15s that don't necessarily need innovation, but sometimes they just do something that just sets it over a little the edge, and I like that. It's like, oh, that's creative. For me personally, because of the way I like to run this, I like to attach my sling to the stock. As soon as I drop this thing, it goes to that last position. I get my pistol, whatever, and then I bring this up, and now I'm on the farthest position, and now my rifle has changed from when I first dropped it. I'm not really a fan of that. I would, in two, again, I'm going to make this disclaimer. This is how I like to run it. This could be completely solved by simply attaching my sling here. I just don't like attaching it there because it gets tangled up whenever I go to do transitions. So for me, great idea. It just, that's the one little thing that kind of bugs me. It's great from going from a stored setting, I guess you could say, a stored way to full out. What you've done is you've just changed a multi-position buffer tube into a 2-position. And to me, it's a cool idea, but to me, it kind of just takes away from the advantages of being able to run multi-position stocks. It's either all the way in or all the way out, and it goes all the way out automatically once all that weight is put on the sling if you're running your sling that way. That's really my only criticism. And it's not even a criticism. It's a cool feature that doesn't work with the way I like to run my stuff. So and I can solve it by switching there. So it's not even it's not even saying like, oh, this is a bad thing. It's just, like I said, it just doesn't work with how I like to run it. So all that being said, this is a solid option just to kind of have in the arsenal for that time when ammo is short again, and it's gonna happen again. It always happens. And there is something to say about running the odd caliber and having a store of ammo of the odd caliber. And I think that this does it really well. There's science behind the ballistics of the 4.6. It's a great round. It's a great platform. And I'm really glad CMMG decided to do something different. And I'm really excited to own this. I think it's a really cool little rifle and pistol. So head over to CMMG, check these things out. I don't know if they have any in stock or not, but you should definitely go check and see if they do. Thank you guys for tuning in for another review. I've got a lot more reviews coming up. Comment below, like this video, share this video. The algorithms obviously don't like us. Make sure that you're sharing these videos because that's really the surefire way to make sure that other people get to see this content. I've got a lot more reviews coming up. We've got merch. We've got med kits coming out. We've got a bunch of content coming out. Medic Mondays are going to be resumed very soon here on this new set. And we're really excited about the things that are going to happen this year in 2023 with Dire Armory. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like and share, and we'll see you guys next time.